Good morning, everybody. Uh, Respected Chairman Shri Natarajan, respected Vice Chairman Shri Kumar, Director Professor Narayanan, esteemed faculty of JSP and also of the Jensen School of Technology, dear students, and the loving family and friends of the graduates today. Today is a special day for all of you, and I am humbled and privileged to be part of your special day. A lot of you will go on to conquer the world. Not long ago, almost 30 years ago, I was also sitting on the other side, eagerly waiting to take on the world. As I share my thoughts with you, I want to talk about what is the world at large that you're going to face as you step out, the India that you see today, the opportunity ahead of you, and some personal tips and advice after having gone through my 30-year journey thus far, so that you can learn, from those things as you shape your career ahead. Some of you will grow on to become great corporate leaders. Some of you will choose the social or the government sector. Some of you may choose academia. Some of you may choose to become entrepreneurs. Whatever the choice that you may have set out for yourself, the one thing that I see as the energy inside this room is that of hope, is that of that never-ending hunger to go and capture that opportunity ahead of you. With that, let me just start to give a glimpse of what is this world that we are entering into. 30 years ago, I was quite privileged and fortunate to have a very simpler world ahead of me. That's not the world that you are seeing today. We capture this world in a 4-letter acronym called BANI. I don't know how many of you are aware of the word called BANI. It stands for brittle, anxious, non-linear, and incomprehensible. That is the world that we are facing today. And let me spend a minute on unveiling this BANI for you. It's become very, very brittle. As a race, as a country, as a planet, we become too sensitive. We take sides quite often and are ready to go to war, on the smallest of things. So we become very brittle, as a human race. We're extremely anxious because the future is becoming uncertain. And a lot of things that were taken for granted are no longer the case. And we see that in events happening around us. The world is being extremely non-linear. And not all is sad and gory, but it's also promise. The world of AI in front of us is non-linear. What opportunities it's going to bring for us is amazing. At the same time, what we saw in COVID was non-linear. Most economies went into negative GDP, something which we never thought would happen. And these are all non-linear trends. And as businesses, as individuals, as societies, we are quite prepared for linear trends and how to respond to linear trends. And we aren't prepared for non-linear. And finally, it's becoming incomprehensible. For all the science students in this room, we all know that variable A into variable B gives an output C. But the world is becoming so complex and so incomprehensible that the same two variables are giving different results, as we embark upon. And it's evident in the events that unfold, before us. So should that scare us? I don't think so. It's actually an opportunity. It actually is something which prepares us better to conquer this world, better. I always believe that this is about relative success. The one who is actually prepared of all of these challenges and can overcome these challenges is the one who would succeed, both as a human being, as a professional, as a society, as a country, as an economy, and as a planet as a whole. And that is the Bani world that we live in. Equally, we also seeing the fourth industrial revolution sweeping upon us. The Industry 4.0, the digital revolution that we talk about. I don't think I'll be alone in the audience to say that 5 years ago I had no idea of the technology that I'll be using today. I can say with the same guarantee that I have no idea about the technology that I'm going to use 5 years from now. And all of this is going to be disruptive. The pace that the first industrial revolution took, when man could discover that they could travel faster than a horse with the advent of the steam engine, to the next industrial revolution, where automation took place, and the third, and now the fourth industrial or digital revolution that's sweeping in front of us. Whether it's the physical revolution that we will see around us, driverless cars, 3D printing, robotic automation, all of those are not esoteric and minority report stuff. These are things that are happening right in front of us. The biological revolution that we see, the work that is happening on improving longevity for both human and animals around us. And finally, the digital revolution that we see, whether it is quantum computing, AI, IoT, all of them set to fundamentally change and disrupt the human race. And I hope for the better. And finally, if I look at India as a country, we couldn't have been in a better place, in a better time, for this country. And I feel so happy for all of you graduating at this time, where the country needs all of you, and the country has tremendous opportunities, for all of us, and where we are being recognized all over the world, as a country to reckon with. And I do believe that we will get much faster than the Prime Minister dream of us becoming a developed nation very soon. And that is the promise of the country that we are, going into. With that context, I want to leave all of you with some tips from my long corporate life. And I have made a lot of mistakes, and I'd encourage you to make mistakes as well. The only thing about mistakes I say to my team is two things: own it and don't repeat it. As long as mistakes there is nothing called failure. There is only success and there's the learning. And if we embrace, that way, I think we will be much ahead. With that said, I have 3 or 4 thoughts that I want to leave with all of you to ponder on. The first and foremost, and I'll probably end with also the same thought, but it's important that I start with it first. Define your purpose. I was honored, I was fortunate to undergo an exercise only about 10 years ago. So 20 years into my corporate career is when I had an opportunity to define my purpose. And it's a very, very deep word. It is not attaining a position. It is not attaining a milestone, achieving a goal. Purpose is far more than that. And we'll talk about it a lot more, at depth. But I want each and every one of us to define what our purpose is. And it's okay if that definition is not clear in your mind today. I want you to make note of it today. So maybe 5 years from now, you have clarity on your purpose. Maybe 10 years from now, you have clarity on your purpose. The reason why I say this as an important tip for all of you is, at this stage of your life, of your career, you're seeking achievement, and there is nothing wrong in seeking achievement. Purpose becomes a lot more clearer when you move from achievement to fulfillment. And when you get to the stage of getting fulfillment, your purpose becomes a lot more clearer. A subset of that, to give you clarity and to probe your minds in that direction, is about defining what is that we are chasing for. And I would urge all of you, chase happiness. And it's easy to say, chase happiness. And in the initial years, success is happiness. Nothing wrong with it. Getting a promotion, buying that car, having a house, the materialistic and the extrinsic motivations drive us. And we define that as success, and we equate that to be happiness. And it is absolutely true in the first few years. But as you move up, it changes. To participate in the sports day of your kid is probably giving you happiness than achieving that promotion, which you probably will attain when you get there, 5 years, 10 years from now. So don't have one fixated idea of happiness that keeps changing. And as you keep re-looking at that definition of happiness, I can assure you, you will be successful. At no point am I telling you the trade-off success for happiness, but be clear as to what gives you happiness. Success will automatically follow. That is a subset of us defining the purpose, as well. The second tip that I would want to talk and leave with you is, as students, you will hear quite a bit of people talking to you about how you should manage your time. I'm not a fan of managing time. Everyone's got 24 hours. What I would encourage you is to manage energy. It is getting the effective outcome of that time that matters rather than spending that time. It's not 18 hours on the job that's going to make you successful. But even if you spend 6, 8 hours on the job, how impactful you are in the job. And that impact comes from managing energy. And I'm not saying this lightly. And let me give an example. This country is made up of Bollywood and cricket. And we all relate to this as an example. What do you think is the average life of a sports athlete? Even the legends like Tendulkar. 20 years? Let's forget outliers like Amitabh Bachchan, who probably will act for 50 years. But what do you think, is the peak performance of great actors and actresses? 15 years? 10 years? The corporate athletes are expected to deliver their peak performance for 40 years. You've joined, some of you are probably as young as 22, 23, and some of you probably have a few years of experience before you got onto JSP. And I'm sure, aside other reasons, and I wish all of you have a long and healthy life, we all will retire at 60, 65, and the way in which the world is going, we are only extending retirement age. We can't afford to have, people who are healthy retire early and become non-productive. So maybe by the time you reach retirement age, it's probably 70. So you've got, 45 years of working life ahead of you? Whatever you choose, even to be an entrepreneur. You are expected to perform at your peak. A Virat Kohli can afford to not be in form in a match and come back the next one. And even then, only has a span of 20 years. All of you are expected to have a span of 40, 45 years. You cannot last that and be the best at your game if you cannot manage energy. Because I also have 24 hours. You also have 24 hours. Everyone in this planet has 24 hours. So there is going to be somebody who's not going to sleep and be better than you. But that's not where it gets. And by the way, a simple secret, I still sleep 8 hours. I'm not a fan of all of those stereotypes that we have created that great performers sleep 4 hours and 5 hours and 6 hours. I want my 8 hours. I mean, there is circadian rhythm which clearly tells how much time your body needs, and we haven't changed the body clock. We haven't changed the composition of the, physiology of our body, whatever advances in science we have done. So up to you. You need that 7 to 8 hours sleep, any which way, which means that you need to be productive in that. Let me unpeel that for you. That is made up of 3 energies. Whenever we say energy, people make a mistake and correlate that only to physical energy. Yes, we need to be physically fit because you need to turn up to work, you need to show up for meetings, you need to deliver results. But let's not underestimate the power of mental energy. Let's not underestimate the power of spiritual energy. That makes us and completes us as human beings. So I would say, please focus your efforts in managing your physical energy, managing your mental energy, and managing your spiritual energy. Find your own balance. There isn't one mantra that I can say and one size that fits all that I can prescribe to you. Whatever works for you, manage your energy, and that's the one thing that is going to separate you, from the others. My third point, make an impact. It does not matter what title, what job description, what position, what power you have. Everyone can make an impact. This morning, as I landed in Coimbatore airport and I used the washroom, the janitor there was proudly sweeping the floor, and he asked me to wait before I stepped in because the floor was empty. Was littered and it was, wet. There is pride in his work. And why should a janitor not be proud of his work? Why should a janitor not create an impact in his work? So if we think that I can only create an impact when I become a CEO, you wasted 25, 30 years waiting to create an impact. Make an impact. Show up. And it's very difficult at this age to say this because I tell this to my children as well. I have a backache and so I can't show up to work. I would pop a pill and go to work. And that's what I would encourage all of you. Show up and make an impact. And when you make an impact, that is when the organizations are ready to give you more responsibilities. The societies are ready to give you more responsibilities. And then you can move up ahead. And finally, I would want all of us to think these 3 elements together. When we come out of business schools, we all think that the most important thing for us is profits. Business, driving growth, profits. That's only one P. I have 2 other P's that are extremely important. People and planet. I want all of us to put people and planet ahead of profits. Like how I gave an example that you chase happiness, success will automatically come. You do the right thing for people and planets, profits will automatically come. They are not mutually exclusive. Remember, we are borrowing the future of this planet from our future generations. This is borrowed from our future generations. We have a responsibility to restore this planet and not erode it from its resources. And therefore, whatever businesses you go into, whatever jobs that you go into, just ensure that there's an element of sustainability. Ensure that there is love and care for our Mother Earth, which is there in your business models, which is there in your actions that you take. And quite often, the easy answer for you is to do the wrong thing. If you think long and hard, that will be the right thing. And trust me, in a few years' time, it won't be the businesses who have the great brands that will have the license to operate. It will be the businesses who have the sustainable brands who have the license to operate. You will have laws that will come about and eliminate you from your existence. So please put planet ahead of you. Why do I talk about people? You'll go on to become great leaders. You are not going to deliver anything yourself. You're going to get it delivered through your teams. And I have only one mantra. They don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. A leader is one who is actually not the one creating more followers. A leader is one who creates more leaders. And we have, unfortunately, giving the same example of Bollywood, cricket, and politics, we have a very wrong notion of leadership, which is decided by the number of followers they have. But, ladies and gentlemen, in the world of business, in the world of corporate, your ability to create more leaders is what is going to make you, a successful leader. With those thoughts, let me come back and summarize the item on purpose. Whether it is making an impact, whether it is managing your energy, whether it is seeking success or happiness, what is it that's going to make you get up from bed and get off to conquer the world? It is going to be your purpose. Go find your purpose. Because education has prepared you to give the right answers. But the world out there will prepare you to ask the right questions. With that, thank you very much for having me and wish you all the very best.